G'day Raiders family, Bourkeys here, and how are you? Welcome to my preview of the Roosters round 21 game. We're, about an hour and 40 away from kickoff, guys. Hope you keep them warm down there, and this is a big month now. The final 4 rounds, Roosters into Storm, into Manly, 5 rounds should I say. Roosters into Storm, into Manly, into Cronulla, into Warriors, so it's a big 5 weeks coming up. No better start than today with the Premiers, but what a salivating match this is going to be, and looking forward to, I think, what's going to be a positive outcome for us today, guys. So let's get into the top 10. Number 1, I'm starting with the Roosters, obviously, and I've gone for Maria Hargreaves versus the World. No mistake about it, this guy's the leader of their pack and takes on anyone that comes his way. He is a prick, but he's a sort of forward you want in your side. He's a mongrel, he's aggressive, he just rumbles forward the whole time. His main threat today, or his main modus operandi, is going to be intimidation, aggression, and getting them over the advantage line. He's going to be trying to line up Papa and Sia and Louis and Bateman, anyone he can get his hands on who makes an impact to the opposition side. This guy likes to go after. That's his role, and he probably is one of the best in the competition about it as well. Walks a fine line, no mistake about it, but he's the sort of forward leader you want in your pack. So he's like our Papali or our John Bateman from an aggressive sort of point of view, but he's certainly going to be in all the crap today that goes on. He's going to be right at the forefront and starting plenty of it. So we've just got to meet that intimidation. We've got to meet it big time and trump it down and double down with it, and absorb it as well we can and use it as a motivation tool to hit back and hit back harder. Number 2, I've gone for Tedesco. Obviously, critical. Now, as I said against Tuivasa Sheck last week, you can't stop these great players doing what they do, but you have to control them. So obviously with Tedesco, with our kicks, I think we should be kicking early against Tedesco, to be honest. Put it over his head. The Titans did it quite effectively last week with the wingers up for the Roosters, and they kicked it over his head. Yes, it means kicking early. The Titans were kicking on maybe the 3rd or the 4th tackle last week on a number of circumstances. But if we can hem Tedesco back in his line where he's not bringing the ball back on the full or on a first bounce, it's going to really help our defensive line get up into his face quickly. That's the first thing, the kicks. The second thing is around the ruck. You'll find the last 5-10 minutes of the first half, Tedesco's going to start sniffing around the ruck. The play that will happen, or the play that will unfold, is similar to this. Crichton takes a quick hit straight off, one off Cronk, or Keary usually. It then comes back to a wide pass to Cronk to the right. He goes right inside to Radley, who's got Tedesco coming up inside him. That's their pet play usually. So Tedesco's going to be sniffing around that ruck a hell of a lot. Early on in the game, he's going to be wide outside the edges, trying to be a ball player to an edge runner into a hole. So once again, we can't panic. We've got to keep our line very stable and not rushing, and we don't make a proper tackle. We need to wrap him up, ball and all. So they're the areas he's really going to be sniffing around. The other thing with the kick, we need to kick to our right side. So his step coming back is nowhere, his left to right step is nowhere near as potent and his right to left step. So we need to not kick it to our left edge as much as possible, but kick to the right edge. But obviously he's a massive danger. Cooper Cronk, number 3 at 35. I can't stress this enough. We need to be doubling down with our intensity to make him do a tackle or tackles consistently. It's really important that we work him over as much as we can early. And once again, first man off the ruck is going to be their main player, taking the ball wide, hitting the edges, and he's going to be sniffing around that inside ball, particularly, as I said, to Tedesco, to Radley and those types of guys. So we can't rush him. We've really got to rush quickly from marker though. We've really got to put pressure on his inside so he doesn't have as much time management with the ball. If we do that, then their outside plays are not going to be as nearly as brutal as they should be, because we've really taken off the time for him to do things with. Number 4, I've gone for Keary, playing left edge with Latrell. There's a weakness here in Keary's defence. He'll be playing inside Latrell and outside an edge. So the likes of John Bateman, Nick Really got to line up Keary. He's not a good one-on-one defender at all. He'll need the help of Latrell, who's also lazy in doing double down tackles. So I think those two, if we could do some really switch or some slick right side plays with Aiden hitting CNK, Nick, Johnny Bateman, working those two guys over, I think we can get quick play the balls and get on a roll with momentum. So we've got to keep Keary in mind in attack. Particularly, he'll try and hit Latrell with the short ball, but particularly in defence. Number 5, I've gone for Papa. He's got to meet Waria Hargreaves and the rest of the Roosters pack head on. He needs to be our leader today, big time. The big thing I want to see with Papa today is some offloads. I think if we can get some offloads from him, the Roosters do not like offloads. I think with Papa milling around that edge, a short pop out the back, to Hodjo or those types of, or Tarpany, it's going to work really well for us. Once again, as I said, the offloads are critical. Number 6, as I said, the Roosters do not like second phase play. They like structure. And anytime sides start to get offloads and spread it wide to the edges, they lose a bit of rhythm. Manly did it with them a few weeks ago. Souths have done it in the past as well. And the Tigers particularly like to do it when they play them, when they just get some second phase play. And the Roosters with their big pack find it hard to accommodate. Number 7, I've got play to the line. We need to be playing into the Roosters line today. What I mean by that is Aiden needs to be going right to the line before he hits support. Same with Jack, same with Hodjo. The Roosters come up in a very straight, slow line, so they don't rush off a lot, but they make sure they look left and right and their line is steady. So we need to be playing into the line to hit our support players, forcing them to retreat quickly and then get that and win that play the ball. If we can do that, we're going to get points off the back of it or far better field position. So we've just got to make sure that we're not playing out to the line without them even making a tackle. We've really got to engage them in 2 or 3 tackles before we can ball play. The Bateman Factor at number 8, I think John Bateman loves these types of games. It's going to be gritty, 20,000 there or thereabouts, 3rd versus 4th or second versus 3rd, whatever it is. He loves these sorts of games. I can see him really getting stuck into some crap, particularly with Maria Hargreaves. I think he wants to try and lead us around the park today as much as he can. But I certainly see his skipping away on Keary and Latrell as being a real critical part of our attack today. So look forward to the Bateman Factor. Number 9, I've gone for BJ. Will he or won't he? I think if he does, it's going to be an enormous lift marking Latrell. I think if he does play, he'll get some great protection from Bateman, from Elliott, and those types of guys. So I really hope for BJ's sake that he plays. Not to mention his big runs out of our end zone, his big body, his offloads with Rapana. There's so much upside. There's so much upside with BJ. I don't think coming off the bench is the answer for BJ. I think we've got to start him and let him go as much as possible, knowing that we can cover him if need be with Bateman into the centres if necessary and so on. But I sincerely hope BJ plays. I think it'll be enormous for him to play this game. We've got then 4 games after that, but I think he needs a run today to really get him primed for the semis. And number 10, I've gone for patience. If you look back at the 2018 game, the big thing with last year's game against the Roosters at a similar time of the year is how patient we were with the ball. We never made many errors. We absorbed the best the Roosters had. We kept a straight line. We did the 1%ers. All really vanilla, simplistic stuff. So we just need to be patient with the ball today. We need to be patient in defence. We don't need any Hail Mary plays. As a top 4 side, we shouldn't be relying on Hail Mary plays, but going through our processes and going through our systems of what we've been training for. So patience is huge today. The Roosters love patience. They suck the best you've got and then they sweat on an error before they score. So that's the sort of mindset we have to have today to win this, guys. And we are going to win, and it's going to be a huge game, and we're going to remain in the top 4 and finish second by tonight. That's my optimistic side. So guys, that's my top 10 for this week. As always, I love your support on my Bourkeys Top 10 Facebook page. You can subscribe through YouTube at Bourkeys Top 10. Hit me up on Twitter with any questions or any of those platforms, as well as all your podcasts are now available through Apple, Google, Spotify, and so on. And guys, as always, this is Berkey Bleed Green out.